This week I'm down on the farm with the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe calligraphy. This is the top model Santa Fe that you can see. I'm still in last night's clobber. It's fabulous down here. It's absolutely beautiful. We're still at the beginning of spring. You can see the wind turbines over there just past the horizon. And no, you cannot hear the wind turbines in the next valley as we are. It's as silent as a grave, and all I can hear is the most beautiful Australian bird noises. And that's why having an all-wheel drive is so important. Excuse all the bugs and what have you. We've done some really hard work in this. It's all been country roads and dirt, and even here on the farm, none of the roads are sealed. And it's a couple of kilometres back to the highway. Well, back to the main road into town. You can see the headlights for calligraphy, an H pattern that turns orange when it's an indicator, a nice big chunky front end. Interestingly, this is the same 1.6 litre hybrid that we saw in its smaller sister. We've got some fabulously huge wheels, excuse the dust on them, they are actually dark. Smart locking and unlocking. And how's this for something natty? You can push this in and then you can use this as a handle climbing up onto the top of the wheel to get into a top box that you might have installed up on the roof. And it saves you having to stand on the door sill, and it gives you about another 20 centimetres of height, which is quite interesting. It's this monumental rear end that most people have got a bit of a problem with. The lights are along the bottom and indicators and so forth, some think that's a little bit low. I don't know, I mean the whole lighting array is a bit low, so yeah, I mean I don't know why they didn't put it up a little bit higher. This area where you'd normally see lights looks a little bit slabby. As you can see, the second row is 2 captain seats, so this can be a 6 or a 7-seater. There's another row of seats here under the floor, and this is my detritus for my trip. We've got some buttons to control the seats, a USB outlet, some rear air conditioning, which is just astounding, and some outlets. And then over here a 12-volt outlet. And this even has limo mode for the second row occupants. And it's got a close and lock button. But it is inside where this thing really shows its grit. The back door is absolutely enormous. And I mean absolutely enormous. First thing you notice in the second row is there's a couple of captain seats, and these can operate independently of each other, slide backwards and forwards, and look how much leg space there is. There is an absolute ballroom back here. There is even a chauffeur mode. From here you get a commanding view of the control center. And there's a sunroof above me and a sunroof in the front as well. And the little H's from the headlights are repeated everywhere, including over in the front fence. And finally, there are USB ports in the backs of the front seats, which has been a Hyundai Kia thing for years. I absolutely love it. And there's a couple of window shades for privacy too. Manual, you have to lift them up yourself, but that makes you get your exercise for the day. I've gotten changed into my road clobber, so I'm just about ready to head home. So we'll take you down the driveway on a couple of dirt roads, and then on, sorry, that's my walkie. On a couple of dirt roads, and then on the highway where I'll show you the lane change assist. This natty active rear view mirror so that you can have it functioning as a TV screen or as a mirror. A myriad of controls. Hyundai's new paddle system. Just going to make this a little bit cooler. It's 20 degrees outside. It was 4 degrees last night, absolutely freezing. The one slightly disappointing thing, just going to try and thread my way around these wattle trees, is that this is really quite a precious car, and especially with this matte paint job, I'm not sure I'd want to put it anywhere near anything scratchy, which is why I'm stepping my way around all these branches. It's coping beautifully with this rough bush track. Please excuse the walkie. It's got an off button, but I can't seem to find it. Okay. Alright, go this way because I know I have to go this way. Alright, let's get along here at a fairly decent clip. Oh, that's the other thing. Turn the speed limit warning off. So it'll be going off every 5 minutes. That other little ding was the driver monitor telling me that it can't see me. It's insane. It goes off every 5 minutes. Now we're getting along here at a fair clip. It's a 100km/h road, believe it or not. I'm doing 60. I think that's more than sufficient. We've had a few roos in our upper paddock, and believe it or not, the roos are, some of them are huge. And the last thing you want to do is hit a roo. It will go straight through your windscreen. I realise this is, as dirt roads go, quite good, but do I tell you what, this makes it feel like it's properly paved. There's some Australian outback for you. Well, I mean, it's not really outback. You'll notice I've got the active mirror in display mode. One thing I did notice, that the camera, even though it's high up, gets covered in dust. I'm a bit peckish too, so I'm going to stop for a bite to eat. I've got my display up telling me what the wheels are doing. There is a hybrid display as well. And that's the other interesting thing, is that around town this was getting about 6.3 litres per 100 kilometres. I'm up to 7.5 litres per 100 kilometres with 800 kilometres travelled. And this particular trip has been 546. According to the trip meter, I haven't done 546, I've done about 340. Interestingly, I still have 356 kilometres range in my tank, which I think is pretty impressive. Oh, this is just delightful. You wouldn't think an big old thing like this would handle beautifully, but it does. The suspension is absolutely fantastic. It's got the international settings, of course. Hyundai don't do local settings. Lovely. Ooh, ooh. I got a little bit of air. And I'm still doing nowhere near the speed limit. I'm sorry, there's no way I'd be doing 100 kilometres an hour on this road. Now I'm on sealed road, just one lane each way. The speed limit's 100, it's nice and twisty and bendy, and I'm doing 100. It's just joyous. I've picked you up about to come into a small town called Gunning, where I intend to pick up something to eat for lunch. Just paid $23 for a coffee in my own cup, a chili and chicken Turkish panini, and a rather nice piece of coconut slice. Now, I would normally stop here to eat that, but I really do want to get on the road. It's a long drive back to Sydney. So, whoops, the seatbelt seems to be, whoops, what have I done? Seatbelt was stuck. It's telling me low washer fluid. Okay, my ritual, turn off, speed limit warning. Lovely. Now, 237 kilometres it's telling me, and I've got about, what are we now, 237, about 2.5 hours. Alrighty, let's get out of here. That's the reverse cross traffic warning telling me that I can't reverse out. I've stopped for a hand wash and a toilet break, cleaned the lens so this rear view camera is now crystal clear. I couldn't see a thing out of it before, and if I put it in reverse, my reversing camera is also crystal clear. I couldn't see a thing out of that. Such is the life on the road. Alrighty. But it has to fulfill several different criteria, not the least being it has to be 2 lanes each way. And I don't think it sees this road as 2 lanes each way. In my head-up display, I've got a lovely wide head-up display. I can see all the information, so I can see my directions home, the speed limit, and when I press this, the speed that the cruise control set at, which is a little bit high. Bring that down. Lovely. So I can see the speed the cruise is set at, the speed limit, and the sign markings. And when I press this, the auto steering comes on. Now, highway assist takes that a step further and it gives me automated lane changing and so forth. But it will only operate if it's 4 lanes. And I think with this reservation in between, I don't think it sees it as 4 lanes. Let's talk a little bit about the car. The cabin itself is absolutely, it's cracking. The mood lighting, absolutely beautiful. Though that's not unusual. There's this kind of laminated bamboo looking cover on the dashboard, which I like very much. It's given it a real touch of class. This top part of the glove box, if you press this button, so if I was to put my phone in it, which I'll do now, and press this button, it's going to get a spray of UV to disinfect it. It lasts for a certain while, and I suppose you turn it over and give it another burl on the other side. Great idea. The audio system in this Santa Fe is absolutely stonking. It is brilliant. There's a touch panel below for the climate controls, audio controls above that, and some USBs and so forth below that. Also, you can see whether or not the Qi charger is charging your phone. These are dual chargers and they're high speed. The brakes and the steering are absolutely lovely. The driver's seat has 2 memories. I would expect that for a top line Santa Fe that the passenger seat would have dual memory as well, but alas. I think the cabin itself is fairly tasteful. It feels more expensive than it actually is. This is an absolute quantum leap over the previous model. The second this came out, that previous model became, if there were any of them left in dealers, virtually unsellable. Why would you want that when you can have this? Well, I finally figured it out. I have the full highway drive assist activated, and what I had to do was go back into the menu, tick everything off, and then tick everything back on again. The second I did that, it came up asking me if I wanted to use lane change assist. So now if I want to change lanes, this car's now doing it by itself. I do not know why. I do not know why it wouldn't do that. I didn't think to go back into the menu and tick something that I already knew was ticked. That's all this week for the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. It is brilliant, and I'd actually buy one of these if I needed a car that had so much space. Very capable, I think quite handsome. The back is still controversial. Other than that, it does nothing wrong. It is brilliant. As always, hit like, comment, and just over there to subscribe.